All right. Good morning. Good morning and good morning and welcome once again. And today we are on session number 622. Very well. Could you have ever imagined when we started that we will, it seems like we'll cross 700, 800 also at this rate. So congratulations to everybody that we made it so far, and we are still engaging and still learning and still opening up our minds every day. So you know what empowering morning conversations are. The purpose is to help us to have a life that we love, a life of ease, a life of joy, and a life that we desire. And to remind us every morning about the possibility that life can be one great possibility. To remind us that we can do some creation, If life is a blank canvas that has been handed over to us by the Almighty, we can fill it up with different colors and we can fill it up with, newness, rather than just living the same old life, right? Guru Nandan and I know, we used to say, go to office, come back home, go to office, come back home. All surviving activities that we have to do, and there's no choice in that. Jo karna padta hai, wo to karna hi padta hai. What you have to do, right? But what about some creation too? I was speaking with a gentleman the other day, very, very senior gentleman who has fallen upon some tough times in his life right now. And it has happened to him for the first time. So I asked him, I said, listen, what is Providence trying to tell you? What is God trying to tell you? Why has He given you this kind of a situation now? Very senior, very accomplished, very fine man, right? So he was obviously feeling discouraged and disappointed, and you can imagine what song must be going on in his mind. Humne to kaliyan maangi, kaanton ka haar mila. That kind of a thing, So I said, what is the Providence trying to tell you, do you think? He says, I don't know. I'm being punished by the God. So I said, hello, what if it is not a punishment? Okay. What if it is only a signal? What if it is a nudge? What if it is a push that you require right now in your life? And then he said, yes, it's time for me to take a new direction in my life. I should have done that 15 years ago, but I did not. Because I had a position, I was only trying to maintain it. Are you getting it? He had a number one position and he was only trying to maintain it. And he says, looks like I forgot that the position was given to me for a purpose and I never used it. Okay. So the guy says, I said, what was the position given to you for? Do you think, in retrospect? So he said, maybe to make a difference, He said that even in this great opportunity, and I was handling this big company, the opportunity actually was to grow the company, create certain things, take it beyond whatever the expectations of the shareholders or the board of directors was. But instead of doing that, I was only dealing with survival activities of the company. My brain was only going to, okay, we should have this much growth this year, right? So we didn't do anything extraordinary. That was possible for me to think, but I had no time to think. So the lesson that he got, and the lesson which we all should take from that kind of a situation, is that if you do not make a change, yourself. If you do not create your life yourself, then providence will push you to do so. A situation will happen to push you and kick you and wake you up and say, hello, wake up. So this is what the opportunity here is every morning. When you wake up, shake up, start creating your life. If you are not doing already, because there are some people who are, those who are not, maybe you want to start creating it. So before we move on to today's topic, I want to say a couple of things about what has been covered so far. So what we did was, before we talked about listening, we were talking about how people use their minds. We were talking about what are our mind habits. Okay? We were talking about the tools that are available for us to change our habits. Now, what's the problem with habits? The habits do not allow us to change. Habits keep us fixed in a zone of comfort. Okay? And then we looked at listening. So today we will talk more about why listening and what is the connection between listening and the mind, and what is your mind doing most of the time. So before we say anything else, something about listening I want to clarify. Listening is a tool of communication. Okay? Listening is a tool to manage your life. What is your life? It is a network of relationships. You notice you're not all by yourself. You're not alone. Akele nahi ho. So life is a network of relationships, and the only tool that you have to manage this network of relationships is communication. And communication begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. It does not mean that you have to agree with them. It does not mean you have to disagree with them. It does not mean that you have to do what they say. It does not mean that you don't do what they say. It only means that you are willing to accept another person's point of view. Now, it does not mean that you will be able to get into his shoes. You understand? You can never get into somebody else's shoes. However, you can make an attempt, and a good one, to see the world as they see it. जब आप दूसरे के दृष्टिकोण को ले लेने के लिए इच्छुक हो जाते हो, कम से कम आप कोशिश तो कर रहे हो कि भैया उसका नजरिया अलग है, मेरा नजरिया अलग है. You're able to say that, hey, listen, he's got a point of view, I have a point of view, nobody has a monopoly on point of view, so at least you will not get stuck on points of view. When there is a willingness to accept, willingness means what? Ichchuk ho. You're not saying that only I am right. You're saying that, okay, let me see what the other person sees. Let me hear what the other person hears. Let me at least acknowledge that from that person's point of view, what that person is saying may be the truth for him. उसका सच अलग है, मेरा सच अलग है. उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो गलत है या मैं गलत हूँ. You know, if I am right, it does not mean the other person is wrong. If the other person is right, it does not mean that I'm wrong. We both can be right. हम दोनों सही हो सकते हैं अपने अपने नजरिए से. Now, if you are standing in that place, what does it make possible for you? When you have this kind of thinking, what does it make possible for you? When you have this kind of willingness and you have this kind of listening, what does it make possible for you? So a quick response from some of you would be appreciated. When you are willing to accept another person's point of view and obviously listen in a particular manner, what does it make possible for you? Yes, Mr. K. Reddy.
Understanding, sir.
Of course.
Understanding.
Yes, right, correct. And if this understanding is happening, what does it make possible for you?
You will develop good relationship.
So you'll get a better relationship. And what does that make possible for you?
It will make our life more happy and easier.
It will make your life easier and happier. Okay. Anything else that you will get out of it? Remember, you are working with people. They are working with you. You want something from them. They want something from you too. So what else? So this is a beautiful thing that Reddy Garu is saying. But if all these things happen, what else will it make possible for you? Now there is understanding, there's good relationship, and you're all feeling very nice and all that. So what will that make possible for you? Mr. Reddy, please continue the conversation.
Yeah, ultimately it's a happy life. It leads to happiness.
That's right. And in between, so many other positive things will also start happening. You know, many things which we don't do in our life because we think that our near and dear ones will not support us to do it. See, how many of you have noticed that we don't do many things? We want to do many things, but we don't do because we think that our family members or associate will not support us, right? And sometimes they actually don't support us. But if you have this kind of a new relationship with them, do you think you will get better support in your life for your ideas, for your thoughts, for your projects? All right. Thank you, Reddy Garu. So let's talk to Shiva, our senior Reddy Garu. I don't know who is senior really. But
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ji. Good morning.
Sir, we can find a solution acceptable to both, which will make both people to succeed.
That's right. We can help each other to succeed in our endeavors.
Yes, sir.
In our goals. Yes. What else? Petri, what will it make possible?
It expands our current reality. So far, what we have been believing, which is possible, which is not possible. If we start to listen, that gives, like you usually say in your own state, it expands our orbit.
Yeah, and if it does that, see, I want you guys, all of you, not only Vetrival, but all of you to look at your current situation in your life and your current relationships in your life and your current structure of support. Who is your structure of support in your life? Some people have a huge structure of support because there are many people there willing to support them. Some people have a small structure. Means they have only few people. But whatever you have, small structure of support. See, people in your life are your structure of support. If you have a good relationship with them. If you don't have a good relationship with them, they are there, but they may not be supporting you. Remember, purpose of a relationship is to support each other, empower each other, and make each other stronger. So if you have a great relationship, all these three things will be available to both parties. Okay? So on a practical level, not theoretical one, what will it make possible in existing a network of support that you already have? Yes, Rashmi.
I think a better communication would lead to more alignment of whatever we are trying to achieve. It will increase the efficiency in which we work. And it will fulfill a larger purpose of that relationship.
And see, there is a realization that starts coming in, that in this relationship, we can both help each other to achieve each other's objectives also. So generally, what happens is that we are a little me-oriented mostly. We end up being like that. Why I want a good relationship? Because it'll make me happy. Right? Why I want a good relationship? Because I will be able to fulfill my objectives. So when you start being willing to be, to accept another person's point of view, you may also realize what's important for the other person. Right? So that also will happen. And one more thing which you may realize is that a lot of people who we are keeping at a distance, they are there, but we don't allow them to be very close to us. They will also become closer. And a lot of stuff that we carry in our brain, we have a lot of stuff which does not allow people to come close to us. We keep them away from us. Maybe we can drop that as well. Yes, Rama. Morning to you. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Nice to see you on a Monday, I say.
Yeah, this week it is a holiday. So something new can be created. So by developing the relationship, what is possible? I think one of them is to creation. Something new can be created.
Good. So having re-established the importance of listening, and I think we should do that every day, because there is a way we listen in this call also. Okay. So if you apply all the principles of listening that we've been talking about, I promise you, you will be able to get much more out of our conversations together. Isn't that important? We're spending an hour of our time together. So let's make the most of it. So let's look at our mind and what we are using it for. Okay. So Guru Nandan ji started a very interesting topic about enhancing the power of our mind. But even if you do enhance it, what are you going to use it for? I mean, what do we use our mind for? So one of the things we certainly do is to get inputs. You understand? We get data from the world. We get information from outside. Okay. How do you get information from the outside? Through your ears, through your 5 senses, correct? We are getting data all the time. So if you're listening properly, then you will get more accurate data. And then once you've got the data, you will get it visually also, the data, what you see. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We've been talking a lot about what we hear. Okay, we will talk about what we see. We will talk a lot about what we feel. Sensations, aroma, smell. We're getting inputs from all these. And then what do we do with it? We process it. Okay. For what purpose? To make a choice or a decision about it. And then we make certain actions after we made a choice or made a decision, whatever. Okay. But tell me something, if your data is faulty, if your data is not accurate, so we were talking about unreality. So if you see something, but actually that is not what you see, then will your processing be accurate? I promise you, when you see, you do not see the present, you see only the past. Okay? Think about it. You do not see the present. You see only the past. What does that mean to you when I say that statement? Yes, Conan.
Yeah, what I'm getting is that, sir, Basically, when we see, we start interpreting. And that interpretation is always have the references of the previous experiences, the past experiences.
Yes.
So we start looking from that angle.
Yeah. In another language, I would say it is a concept that you see, not the real thing. You know, like if you saw a bird for the first time, you actually saw the bird. Next time, what you're doing is you're seeing a facsimile of the bird. I mean, oh yeah, bird. You know, oh yeah, this is a bird. So it doesn't allow you to be totally present, right? If you already know what is there, are you going to be present? Certainly not. If you're not going to be present, will you be capturing the data completely? Certainly not. So one of the things you can check to see is, are you seeing what is there, or are you only seeing what is the past? And you can train your mind to start becoming a little more observant about these things. Okay. The next thing, what is your mind preoccupied with most of the time? See, are we even aware of what's happening? The more you start working on yourself, the more you will slow down and become more aware, and you will see what is your mind working on most of the time. You may realize that the mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. That's why we only see the past. My experience says that nobody sees anything. We only see our thoughts projected outward, you know. As you see, so shall you believe is a very old saying, right? So what are we seeing? Past. You will see that the mind is preoccupied with the past, and that might be the cause of complete misconception about the time in which your seeing happens. I am looking at something now, but am I seeing it as it is now? Back in 1982, when I did the first EST training program, I reached home and I saw my elder son, probably for the first time seeing him in the present, you know. I said, my God, he's become so big. You know, every time I was seeing his face, which face was I seeing? You know, that 3-year-old Manav Malvai in his yellow, that dress he used to have with the yellow woolen topi and everything. That's all I was seeing. I wasn't even seeing what was there. So what is your mind preoccupied with? And whatever you are thinking about the past is not there. Right? Whatever happened in the past, it's not true for you anymore. See, notice when you look at someone in your life, a person with whom you're related, okay, who do you see? Do you see the person who is there now? Or do you see the person you have known in the past? See, I often have this, problem when we are doing mediation between people, okay? And they are not listening to each other in the present. They are not even seeing each other in the present. They're always referencing, they did this in the past, they did this in the past. So the moment their face come in front of them, the past is pulled up, tuck, right? So I have to remind them, I said, listen, the person who you know from 10 years ago is not the same person now. Even you are not the same person right now. But what are we looking at? The perception that we have of the person from the past. And who is looking at this person also? Yourself from the past, not you in the present. So question is that whatever thought you are holding in your mind right now, is it true? क्या जो आपका इस वक्त विचार आ रहा है वो सही है क्या? Because it's the past thought. It has nothing to do with now. if you're trying to deal with current situation, with the thinking coming from the past, is it going to work for you? Think about that. You know, the only truth that you can hold in your mind, the only truth is what? What is the only truth that you can have about the past right now? We mostly think the past is true, it is correct, this and that. Maybe it was correct then. Is it correct now? So the only truth that we can hold about the past as the truth. आज की डेट में there is only one सच्चाई that you can have in your mind, is that the past is not there anymore. The person that I'm seeing is not the same person anymore. You can realize that the person that you're trying to understand is the person from the past. And look at the problems we have, okay? Like, father starts talking to you, you have a filter coming up straight away. The moment you see the face of that gentleman, filter comes up. The moment Vetrivel sees his wife, certain filter will come up. Because we are not seeing the present person here. We are only seeing the person who was there in the past. No, I'm not getting in, is it right or is it wrong or something like that. I'm just saying that if I have to deal with someone in the present, then I need to be there in the present with them, isn't it? So what is the mind doing most of the time? So I want to give you an exercise today. That's it. So the purpose of this exercise today is to recognize, right? When your mind is not thinking at all. To be able to recognize that your mind is not thinking at all. What do I mean by that? I mean that thoughtless ideas are occupying your mind. Thoughtless ideas are blocking your mind. The truth is blocked. Okay? Unnecessary ideas are blocking your mind. So you being able to recognize that your mind has been blank, rather than believing that it is filled up with real ideas, that is the first way to open up your vision, to recognize what is happening right now. Okay? To make your mind, believe that, hello, whatever you're thinking is all nothing. It's the past. Whatever you're seeing is the past. Whatever you're filling up your brain is with the past. So once we are clear of that, we can create some opening for some new things to happen. So the exercises of today you can do with your eyes closed. Why? Because you actually cannot see anything. It is easier to recognize that when you keep your eyes closed. All right, so close your eyes and close your eyes. Search your mind for a minute or so, just to note the thoughts that you find over there. Okay? And you can give it some kind of a label for what is the theme of that thought. Yeah? So there is a thought. What is it about? So you can give it a name. This thought is about so and so. This thought is about such and such. You can give a name to it by the central figure, the person who's there, or the theme that is there, the topic that is there. Then move to the next one. start observing different thoughts that are running through your mind right now. And as you do that, you can start doing a new practice. You say in your mind, I seem to be thinking about so-and-so. Yeah. So if a thought is about money, you'll say, I seem to be thinking about money. I seem to be thinking about my boss. I seem to be thinking about my business. I seem to be thinking about XYZ problem. I seem to be thinking about that fellow who trolled me on the social media yesterday. Just notice what you are thinking about. And then give a name for each thought. For example, you'll say, I seem to be thinking about Mr. Guru Nandan, about his mind topic or whatever. Or it could be, I'm thinking of so-and-so and I'm getting angry. So you look at the thought and then you give a name to it. Yeah. So first you will say, I seem to be thinking about such and such. I seem to be thinking about food or whatever you're thinking about. I seem to be thinking about so-and-so person or so-and-so thing. And after you finished for a minute of doing it, you say the last sentence you will say is, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Yeah, so you close your eyes, you're looking at different type of thoughts that are there one by one, and you're giving them a name. And once you've done that, at the end of the exercise, you will say, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. And I would recommend that you do this exercise 3 or 4 times a day. Just close your eyes and see, what is your mind preoccupied with? Kya kar raha hai aapka dimag? So simple. Mind is thinking about topic so-and-so. What is the theme? And then at the end of you say, my mind is preoccupied with the past. Because when you do this exercise, you may find that it's mostly preoccupied with the past. Right, you can take another minute or so. All right. So having done the exercise, I'll ask you, if you have completed it, you can share what you realized. Yes, Guru Nandan. Oh, please unmute. You got muted accidentally, sorry.
No problem, sir. So as soon as you said we are going to do exercise today and you have to close your eyes and think of a moment and...
what is the thought at this moment?
Yeah, so the moment here, what is the thought of the moment? And the moment which came was that I have to only focus on present. So that was the thought, and I started focusing on all my senses. My eyes were closed, so I started, and I could sense other things much better because my eyes were closed. So there was a Shabad Kirtan going on. My mother has put in, I could hear that Shabad. I could hear my wife opening the door and the birds chirping. We have birds at house, so birds chirping. I could hear a lot of this sound which I might have ignored. And then I could feel the touch on my table, on my feet, even the leg of the table being touched by my other leg, the leg of the chair, other chair touching my other leg, my left leg. I could feel every part of the body in that sense. And I could smell, I was focusing on smell and I was changing the movements also. So whatever I smelled 5-10 seconds back, I was again focusing on the smell. Then taste of the water, I just had a barley water. So I could assimilate that taste also, right? So I was focusing on present moment. And once when you said, if you're thinking about money, you're thinking about your business, you're thinking for few milliseconds, the brain went there. Am I thinking, am I supposed to do that? Then I said, no, I'm supposed to think of the present.
Okay, very nice, very nice. No, the exercise was not to make you think of the present moment, but I'm happy that you could do that. The exercise was to identify what your mind is preoccupied with. So any given point of time, when you start becoming aware, you will know that the mind is thinking about different things.
Correct.
Right? And you identify those things, give it a label, and then at the end you say that, okay, my mind is preoccupied with the past. But an interesting byproduct of this exercise is that your awareness is getting in your control. Na? That is why you could make out so many things. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Guru Nandan.
I realized that later when you said that you have to label it and all that, I said, oh my God, I'm doing the exercise the other way around.
And whichever way you did it, it worked for you, no?
Yeah.
It worked for you, so that's good. Okay, Abhinav, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning again, everyone. See, what I first got present to was that even my thoughts are automatic. Like I have no control. You were saying, what I got present to was that I'm like a computer. Maybe everybody around me is also like a computer. So no use, blaming others for anything. So even the thoughts are automatic.
That is what it means. And second, one second, Abhinav, when I say that the mind is occupied by thoughtless ideas, that is what you're talking about. Okay, good.
Yes, automatic. Even that is automatic. Thoughts, I have no control. And what I got disgusted with myself in the end was that, why my mind is always thinking of what will go wrong. I'm sure there will be great people around. Maybe you guys are great. You will always, your thoughts will be always be about आज great क्या होने वाला है, आज अच्छा क्या होने वाला है मेरे साथ, आज today is going to be great. ऐसे thought मेरे मन में नहीं आते सुदीपक, मेरे मन में आते हैं what could go wrong. वो जो मैंने कल पिछले हफ्ते काम करे थे, something may go wrong, some client may not pay the money on time and then I will be screwed in the office, or somewhere I am hoping everything will go well with the client and I will sign a contract, something will go wrong. So my mind is, I've always tried to project myself as somebody who's full of energy and somebody who's very enthusiastic, but under se I'm somebody who will always think what could go wrong, something will go wrong. So what to do about it, I don't even know.
Yeah, the first thing is to know that your mind is only preoccupied with the past, right? So where did all these thoughts come from? If you have this fear all the time that something will go wrong and something will go wrong, right? Where is that coming from? There is no evidence right now that something will go wrong, is there?
Yes.
Something can go right also, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So good. I'm glad you noticed it. So the first thing, I believe, if you start noticing what your mind is doing, maybe you can choose to do something else. See, the first stage is to start recognizing what your mind is doing. And it's so beautiful that you can see that it's automatically doing that. Right? It's not, nobody will intentionally start thinking negative thoughts, no?
Absolutely.
It's happening unintentionally. So when you start noticing that your mind is doing that, what choice does it give you? But it is your computer, na? The brain.
Yes.
And the moment you realize what you are using your computer for, किस purpose के लिए use कर रहे हो, what are you using it for, then do you have a different choice or no?
At times, yes.
Why do you say that? If I know that, listen, you're driving your car, right? It's your car.
Yes.
And you see that your car is going to be banging against a tree if you keep driving that way. Do you have a choice to change the direction of your car or no?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So similarly,
I have a choice.
Anna? Because when we are completely stuck up in the past, you have no choice. No?
Absolutely.
But when you allow yourself to see or notice what your brain is doing, then you have a choice, right? Okay, so we have here someone from far, far away who has shared something. Let me. So Sabino is, we call you Sabino. I hope that's okay. Or do we call you Carlos? Just give me an indication. Sabino okay or Carlos is okay? All right, so what he has written in the chat, I suppose everybody can read it, right? I realize that I don't have many problems, but I do a lot of problems for what I have to solve, which is to create a business and live and generate economy. I also realize that I have an image of laziness and stagnation that I had all my life. But I wonder if I'm that or not. And I think I keep the image of my laziness and reluctance and so on. So I also thought about my ex-partner that I would like to see her with a new look, but I see that without realizing it. Sometimes I do, but I realize that sometimes people don't change. Interesting, isn't it? In our mind, maybe people don't change. How many of you notice that when, even if you change in your life, you might have really changed? Like Abhinav and I know we went for the landmark and we came back and we are very, very different. But our family is the last person to see the change. Everybody might see that you are changed, but the family does not see it. Why is that? Because every time they look at you, they only see the past. Same way, when we're looking at people, they may have changed, but we do not see it because we are seeing only the past. And very interesting what Carlos has shared, that if my brain is always giving me images of laziness and all that, who am I going to be in my everyday life? I mean, that thought, what kind of action or inaction is it going to breed? Like Abhinav realized that he's always thinking about something will go wrong, something will go wrong, something will go wrong. Then how is he going to be living his everyday life? It's going to have some impact on the way you are being in the present, isn't it? Whatever is happening in your mind is going to influence who you are being in the present, isn't it? So I urge you all, keep doing this exercise 3 or 4 times a day. Close your eyes and become aware what is your mind preoccupied with. And do it in the way I told you. Just observe the thought. Who is the central character of that thought? What is the topic of that thought? Give it a label. And then you say to yourself that my mind is preoccupied with the past. And do it 3 or 4 times every day and see what shows up. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, any questions about the exercise or anything you'd like to share? You're most welcome to do that. Anybody else wants to say something? Here, Reddy Garu, Shiva Prasad Reddy Garu. Please go ahead.
My mind is preoccupied with the thought and I let it go.
Okay. You notice what kind of thought it is. That is the purpose of the exercise.
Yeah. But can I also say that I let it go?
Okay, good. Congratulations if you can let it go.
Thank you, sir.
See, that's the beauty of it. If you are aware of something, you can let it go, no?
Yes, sir.
If you're not even aware of it, how will you let it go?
Yeah.
So the exercise will help you to become aware of what your mind is doing, and then you can choose to let it go, or you can choose to keep it, right? Gives you more choice. Thank you so much for sharing it. Okay, who else? We have 2 more people who raised their hands. One is Kunen. Okay, Reddy Garu has already spoken. Yes, Kunen.
Yes, sir. What I noticed that most of my thoughts are very repetitive about the people, about the object, about the situations, and all this stuff. So,
yeah.
repetition, I observe the pattern of repetition.
Yeah. So, what does it show? If the same thoughts are coming again and again, it's on a loop, right?
Yes, sir.
It's like a broken record. You know, we used to have the record which used to play the same groove all the time. And maybe interesting to notice what kind of thought is playing again and again. No? See, when Abhinav was saying again and again, he has this thought that something will go wrong, something will go wrong. You watch your thoughts and find out what is it that is going on coming again and again, again and again, again and again. Because if your mind is preoccupied with the same thought again and again, again and again, again and again, how much scope does it have to think about anything else? How much scope does it have to allow you to be in the present moment? पास्ट ही अगर आपका माइंड सोचता रहेगा, रिपीटेटिव चीजें सोचता रहेगा, will it allow you to be in the present? Number one. Number two, what kind of thought is it that it keeps coming again and again? And what is the impact on you as a person? Maybe useful to know that, you see, then once you know that it's repetitive, you also know it is automatic. Then what is the thought you might want to put over there intentionally? Yes, sir.
And also, sir, I notice those past of the thoughts taking me in the future by creating some imaginary things which might not be true.
Only a projection you are putting into the future, no?
Yeah.
And if it is useful for you, congratulations. I mean, if your mind is going on giving you an image of I am lazy, I'm lazy, I'm lazy, is that going to be useful for you? I don't think so. It's a very interesting one. I have always had this idea that I'm lazy. And my father always used to say, you lazy fellow, you lazy fellow. And I used to believe it. I would not go and play games, you know, because my mind is saying, Nani, you are a lazy fellow. So sometimes we start believing our own thoughts. Does it work for us? That's the question. Now, I remember the reason I started this topic today is that we are using our five senses to take inputs from the world. Okay? And these inputs should be in the present moment. No? You don't want past inputs. So do you want a perception from the past to help you to deal with the present issue? No. But most of the time, what we see is the past. Most of the time, what we hear is the past. So that is your input. You're getting the data for fixing something in the present moment. So the input itself is becoming faulty. And then it comes into your processor, your mind, which is filled up with all sorts of automatic thoughts. So is this brain going to process the information in a better manner? Firstly, the data is faulty. And the way you are going to process also will be faulty. Yes, Guru Nandan, he is the mind expert. Let's listen to what he says.
No, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you in between. I wanted to first you to complete and then say.
No, I'm complete.
So, sir, what I get from you, the topic today and all the learnings today is that, our thoughts which are coming from the past and processing them in present are creating what we are not able to create or what we want to create.
No, wait. Let me make it more clear. Maybe you have understood, but you're not articulating. See, if you don't see what is there.
Correct.
Okay? You're seeing something from your past perception, comparing with that and saying, yeah, this is what it is. Even when people are talking, we do the same thing, right? We are interpreting in a certain way based on the past. So is the data accurate? No.
Okay, so I take in this manner that if I've done some mistakes in past and I'm going to, example, if I want to improve, what Kaizen also says that if I want to, I'm doing a training and I want to improve on that training, and the people, the participants are different, but the training is same. So if I have done some mistake in the past, I need to be aware of it, and I need to process and correct those mistakes or make it better, how to improve that.
Yeah, but you will not be, so listen, Guru Nandan, you're not going to do it while you are delivering the training, right?
Yes, that I agree. That I agree.
Because when you're delivering the training, you want to be present.
That would be present, absolutely.
Right? But if you are delivering the training and your mind is preoccupied with the thought that I should not make a mistake, I should not do the same thing which I did in the past, you will actually end up doing it.
I agree. That I agree.
So when you make your strategy before you deliver the training, you can keep all these things in mind. That's good.
Okay. That's the clarity I wanted. I got it.
Yeah. So two things. One, I am getting the data which should be, now let us imagine you are conducting a training program. Okay. And somebody has asked you a question.
Right.
And your brain is saying, yeah, I've heard this question many times. I know what he's asking. Would you listen to that person?
No.
You may not. Secondly, you look at that person and you say, oh, he looks like my younger brother, you know. My younger brother always used to ask stupid questions. So he's going to ask a stupid question. Are you going to listen to him?
No.
Right? No, he's not your brother. Right? But a past image of your brother is flashing in front of your eyes. Correct. Without you knowing also, no? So what I'm trying to say is if your input is faulty, you understand? Input means the data is not accurate. And your processing is also faulty because it is so much preoccupied with other things.
I agree. That I agree, sir. Definitely. In the present, when we are delivering something, the past thoughts will always be a blockade.
Yeah.
Great.
Great. Thank you so much. Yes, Kunen.
So the question is, are we labeling the past as it not correct things? Or
no, it's the past is the past. We are only labeling
positive things as well, sir.
Yeah, okay. Let it be positive or negative. It doesn't matter. Why do you have to always measure everything positive, negative? The past is the past, Hannah.
But so if there are certain positive things are there, we can pick it and carry forward. So
we did not say don't carry forward. All I'm saying is what is your mind preoccupied with all the time? See, remember one thing, Kunen, we are talking about being present in the present. Okay? The moment you are, if you are saying, oh, that was good, then you're comparing with the past, right? Don't you want to be, you keep saying awareness, awareness. Awareness means I'm present when I'm present. Not my mind is preoccupied with the past. Oh, past mein acha hua tha. It was good in the past. It was bad in the past. I don't want to think about that when I'm here with you. No? When I say don't judge, it means you drop the right and the wrong. Where is all our right and bad, wrong coming from? From the past, no? At this present moment, I'm in the present moment. I'm with you. I should relate with you as you are now, not what you did 4 weeks ago. Are you getting it?
Yeah, got it, sir.
Carlos, what you're saying is, when you are being in the present, should you be thinking about the past is my question to you. So if I have had certain experiences from the past, very good. I've learned something from the past, very good. I've learned not to do some things from the past, very good. But that was in the past, right? The present situation is never the same as the past situation. Would you agree with me on that? The present situation is never the same as what it was in the past. The person that you are is not the same person that you were in the past. In the past, you were a different person. Correct? The person you are dealing with today is not the same person who was there in the past. It is the person who is there today. So think about it. Because whatever you're dealing with is happening right now, not yesterday. You are not the same person you were yesterday. The other person is not the same person that was there yesterday. And the present situation can never be the 100% same as what it was yesterday. I mean, life is quite dynamic, isn't it? You can have a situation which is similar to what was there in the past, but it's never going to be the same. But we are treating it what? That it's exactly the same. So if there is any difference in the present situation, you'll never know that. That is the point I'm saying. We can continue this discussion tomorrow also. It's interesting. My point is, are you aware of what your mind is doing? And how does it help you to know that? Yes, Kunal, go ahead.
Just a quick one, sir. Like if I am interacting with one individual today at this moment, that individual is the creation of his or her habits. So he will remain as is, whatsoever he or she is.
That's a very good assumption we can make, yes.
So how can I forget the past experiences with or whatsoever I had with him or her?
Can you forget?
But the person cannot be changed, sir.
What am I asking you? What are you replying? I'm saying, can you really forget? You cannot.
No.
Right? But you can be aware that whatever I'm thinking about this gentleman is from my past experiences with him. That much you can be aware, no?
Yeah.
But is he the same person in the present? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that people do change. But because we know them for so long, we have such a strong perception about them that even if they are changed, we will never see the changes. You just see how the brain works.
Got it.
It only sees the similarities. Does it not? It sees similarities. Also, you see another thing. When we were talking a lot about listening, and when somebody is speaking, we can listen to find out what are the points of agreement that we have. Right? A lot of times you will find that you are only hearing all the points where the disagreement is happening. I don't agree with this, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with this. How many times you listen and say, okay, I agree with this, I agree with this, I agree with this. Same syndrome it is. So when somebody is before me and I'm seeing these old habits of this person, I'm seeing what he's saying right now. Because he may be saying something which is completely relevant, completely useful, but I'm not hearing it because my perception about this person is influencing me and I'm not able to be with this person fully. Aisa ho sakta hai, no? So yeah, think about it. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Rama.
Yes, sir. So with not accurate or wrong inputs, with not accurate or appropriate processing, the obvious outcome is the output is also not good. Not
yes, you're right.
So no wonder that how much ever I really do hard work and do process, the output is really going to be not good, not appropriate. So
yeah.
So that's the obvious conclusion.
Yeah. So what else is possible? It's a good thought. First of all, start observing your mind 2 or 3 times in a day and say, okay, all right, what else is possible? Okay, so before we close today's session, let me request Kunan to give us his wonderful poetry. We call it Shairi in Urdu language. So Kunan,
जो शेर याद आ रहा है कि यादे माजी आजाब है यारब.
Okay.
यादे माजी आजाब है यारब, छीन ले मुझसे हाफजा मेरा.
This is a tough one. You'll have to translate it.
यादे माजी आजाब है यारब. The memories of past is punishment to me. Take away the power of memorizing the things.
Yeah, or remembering unpleasant things.
Or remembering unpleasant things.
Memories of the past are unpleasant to me, so please take away all these unpleasant memories.
Yeah.
Wow. So have a nice day, guys. Or a nice night. Depends on where you are on this planet. See, now we are on different sides of the planet also. So thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for engaging and being in this conversation. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks. Have a great day. God bless you.